Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco. Today we have got two games for you. We're at home to Arsenal before we go away to Roma in the final league game, or the group league game, or what I'm trying to say. We go away to Roma in the final group stage game of the Europa League. That is what I was trying to say for so long there. We played quite a few games in between, but it's been quite a mix of league and cup and European things and stuff like that. So I'll show you what's happened since we were last here. Last time you were here, we played against Ghent and Man City. So we've got the 1-1 draw against Man City somehow with 10 men and injured Angel Gomez, and then scored 95th minute equaliser. Incredible stuff there. And of course then went on to beat Ghent 3-1. Straight after that, lose 3-0 to Sunderland. So, I mean, that happened. How we go from a 1-1 draw with Man City with 10 men and a subpar team to then losing 3-0 to Sunderland, I'm not sure, but it happened. We did bounce back, though, with a 2-1 win over Everton in the Carabao Cup. That seems to be our cup at the moment. You know, we've got to the final the past two seasons. We come up against some bigger teams sometimes and think, oh, we're not going to win this one. And somehow we do. And Everton is one of those situations, because Everton are doing very well so far this season. So a good win there. We followed it up with a 3-1 win over Swansea, which was very nice. Swansea, a team that we should be beating, really. And of course, we did that with a 3-1 win, of course. We then played Ghent again in the Europa League, this time winning 2-0 with Diaz and Mark Hall picking up the goals there in a comfortable win there. We could have scored a few more goals, I reckon, but it was comfortable enough to get us to 3 points and things like that. West Brom in the Premier League came next with Mark Hall scoring a brace, as Mbuda scored one later, but Mark Hall got both the goals there. I think perhaps it was it an injury somewhere to get Hammer Time, or I just made that up. I feel like I may have made that up, I don't know why Hammer Time wasn't playing, or maybe he was playing that game, but then Mark Hall came on as a substitute. I can't quite remember. It was a day ago that I played these games now. Anyway, though, he got 2 goals there, which is very, very nice. And then we played against Man United, and we're thoroughly thrashed there, 3-1. The result doesn't seem that bad, but we were outplayed, outclassed. It was disastrous, really. It wasn't very good for us. But we did bounce back with a 6-1 win over Viitorul in the penultimate game of the Europa League. So we have qualified for the later stages of the Europa League now, and a 6-1 win there is incredible. Ruben Garcia, though, getting sent off right into that, which is very, very annoying. And then last time out, we played Tottenham. And Moise Kean scored 4 past us, basically, and we weren't very good. In fact, we were probably worse than the Man United game. So the past few league games haven't been the most convincing. I mean, we beat West Brom 2-1, but again, it wasn't the most convincing game and things like that. And we've got Arsenal today, who came second last year, absolutely bottled the title on the last day of the season. They're still going to be a decent side, so I'm expecting a 3-1 or a 4-1 once again. The training facilities and youth facilities are now upgraded, so we've got superb training and excellent youth facilities now, which is pretty nice. Hopefully move up to level 1. In fact, should we talk to the board about that? Can we be a level 1 thing now? Improve youth level. Can we do that now? I'd like to consider the academy to that next level. They agree. And what they're going to do about it. Apparently it should just be approved now. Apparently excellent is all you need, so that's nice. I've done a similar thing to last season as well. Signed some players on free transfers who aren't going to get work permits, may be sold on for profit, may get work permits in the future, but these two are looking pretty decent. Brian Bonser comes in as a 21-year-old winger. He looks alright according to our scouts and things like that. He's on trial here, but 4.5-star potential. You know, I reckon that's something we can work with. He may not get a work permit, but in a few years' time, perhaps he can move for a couple million, which would be pretty decent. So, welcome, Bosner. And then Corey Kennedy is a 16-year-old Australian guy coming in with his potential's actually gone down. Actually, I mean, this actually could be a pretty bad deal, actually, because that's just gone down from 5 stars in the recent scout report. So, okay, well, we can ignore him. We can ignore him basically. I also realised I've just started recording like a couple of days early. I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but it's worth it actually in a way, because you can see here in a couple of days' time the World Cup group stages. I say I have qualified England for the group stages. I didn't do any of it basically. Every time the World Cup qualifiers came up, I went on holiday, and Nicky Cowley, my assistant manager, decided to do the friendlies instead. So he's qualified England. I've just sat there and sort of taken it. But yeah, we've qualified for the World Cup with these results basically. Our centre backs are either suspended or injured. Basically, Kobayashi is out for 3 to 4 weeks now with an injury in training. Ruben Garcia is out for 2 weeks. How have we got enough centre backs? That's my issue. Benteke's fit, Kobayashi's injured, Garcia is now injured, and Patino also injured. Pandolfi can apparently play centre back. Can he though? Can he? So the World Cup group stage draw is here. We're in pot 2, which is really annoying, because literally the entire time as I've been England manager, we've been 5th, and then suddenly we drop down to 9th, which puts us out the top 8, which means we're not in pot 1, which is dead annoying. So let's draw these first teams. Hopefully we get Canada. That's what I'm hoping. Please. The football manager gods are with me on that one, I reckon. That's delightful. Canada, they must be rubbish. They're 93rd, easy. We're cruising through our group. That's Sweden. We've also got Sweden next. That's pretty cool as well. And then out of pot 4, let's have Japan. I want Japan so we can have Kobayashi, South Korea. I mean, that group will do. Us, Canada, Sweden and South Korea. I'll take that all day, every day, to be fair. Sweden will be a tough one, I think, but I'd like to think that's an easy group. But, I mean, watch us now lose 4-0 to South Korea. The World Cup then will come as like a spin-off series after the summer break and things like that. We'll do it as like bonus episodes in days or something like that. So look forward to that pretty soon. Right, well, finally here now for the Arsenal game. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Due to 4 defenders being injured, Pandolfi's actually drafted in to be central defender alongside Benteke, with Masevic and Ferreira either side of them, with Coyle sitting as a CDM there today to try and provide a bit more stability at the back. I think we're going to need it. Jalapeno and Mertens start in the middle with Gomez and Despacito out on the wings. Hammer Time starts himself up front today. Hopefully he'll get the job done and score a few goals against Arsenal, because we're overdue at beating them. We haven't beaten them for a while, I don't think, so it'd be nice to get a big W. And kick-off is upon us here at Sincil Bank as we take on Arsenal. And before we really get into today's game, I just want to say there's a link in the description to the Discord server of mine. Basically, it's just a chat room, basically, for me to talk to you guys and for you guys to talk to me and each other about football and all sorts of things like that. So I think there's about 33 people in there, but if we can get, I don't know, I'd like to see like 50 there by the end of the weekend. That'd be pretty decent. It's where you sort of hear the news from me first and things like that. Sometimes, oh my God, Gomez has scored. I mean, I wasn't really watching. I was talking to you in the camera. I was looking at you rather than the screen. But, you know, I'll take that. 1-0 going up. That's pretty decent. Again, I've also forgotten to show you a table. As that goal goes in, it moves up to 6th. We were as high as 5th at one point, and then we dropped down to like 10th. I think because we just got onto 22 points, we were on 19 points before, so we were down in about 9th or 10th, I think, below. In fact, we were below West Ham, got -1 goal difference because we've been woeful recently. So we've literally just moved up from 10th to 6th. Brilliant. As I was saying though, yeah, the Discord server, there's a link in the description to join it. It's just where we talk. It's where you're going to hear things first from me. Sometimes it's on Twitter, I hear it, put it first, but I'll try and put it on Discord first of all for you guys out there, of course. But obviously follow me on Twitter too. There's a link to that in the description as well. But it'd be great to see more of you in there. There's a really nice community as they've hit the crossbar twice. Did you see that? They just hit the crossbar twice. Free kick for us now. It's been a pretty eventful opening 15 minutes of the game, actually. The free kick wasn't any good. And Ferrara just gets there ahead of their attacking player there. Jalapeno looks to try and pump a ball forward. Benteke out toward Despacito, but it was a bad ball, really. Actually went straight with Despacito. Liam Coyle wins the tackle, but Arsenal retain possession as they come forward now. But Coyle once again with a big tackle there, and Jalapeno now with a chance to come forward. Despacito dispossessed, and now it's been bouncing around the midfield. Will they score? No. Reynolds, absolute hero once again. He has been a bit of a saviour, but I say that he has conceded 8 goals in the past 3 games, actually. So 7 goals in the past 2 Premier League games. Like, it's less than impressive, really. Well, we go into the break then. Stats relatively equal. Arsenal perhaps slightly on top, but we're on top where it matters. 1-0 up at half time. Well, there's an early chance here for us in this. I mean, I say it's an early chance for us. Arsenal win possession of the ball once again, and now they're coming forward in their droves. Isaac is man over, and Reynolds once again keeping us in the game. He's been on form today, actually. I did slate him a few moments ago, but today he has been on form. Right, I reckon it's time to make a few changes then. Crazy Eyes are going to come on for Mertens, who hasn't played very well at all. I think Hall is going to come on for Hammer Time. Hammer Time, again, him and Mertens this season have been inconsistent, which, if not monitored properly, could be a bit of an issue. I'm going to keep my eyes on it. And I say that, I don't know what to do to fix it, if I'm being honest with yourselves here. But I'm keeping my eyes on it, their inconsistencies. Mark Hall, though, has been a bit of a revelation. He's scored 5 goals now in the league. I think maybe like 6 or 7 overall, including like Europa League and stuff. He's been very, very good this season, actually. And there's times now where I'm thinking perhaps he should get a start over Hammer Time, which is stupid me saying that, because Hammer Time's a world-class player. Of course, Hall isn't there yet. He's still got a long way to go. He's only, 17, 18, something like that. But he's a Premier League quality player at that age, which is pretty sick. It's just how we want to play it, really. I suppose Hammer Time is the overall better player. But if Hall is in better form as Gomez just has an easy chance and puts it wide. Jalapeno on the ball now for us. Plays it out to Ferreira, who can put it toward Despacito. Nice little clever ball there as Despacito beats his man, and Hall's header just over the crossbar. We're starting to get back into this game a little bit. I think we'd lost it in the first half of this second half. but I think now we're just starting to find our mojo back. I think these changes that we've made have actually been quite useful. So we'll keep it as it is for now. Maybe look to make one in a moment as we come forward. Once again, Crazy Eyes with a beautiful shot from the edge of the area. It might have frozen for you a little bit there, because it did lag a bit for me when that was going in the back of a net, but delightful. Pops it in the bottom corner there from across the other side of the box. And fantastically, we're 2-0 up against Arsenal. And there we go. We've beaten Arsenal 2-0. Passionately. No one gave us a chance. I didn't give us a chance, basically. I said before the episode, we're not going to win, but we did. We've won 2-0 there. That's a great way to turn things around, especially after the loss, the 4-1 loss to Tottenham last time out. Arsenal in that top 4 as well, so that's a vital win if we want to be up there in that sort of top 7 area at the end of the season. Puts us into 6th. Fantastic stuff. Of course, focus now switches to Roma, but we don't really need to worry too much, actually, because if we look at the tables now, I will show you this table. I keep forgetting to show you this one, but this one, Euro Cup table, we've won the group already, as you can see. Roma have slipped up in their past 2 games. Can we click on this, please? Yeah, as you can see here, we started off very well with a 2-0 over Vitorol. Roma beat Ghent 2-0. We both then win our next game. Then we drew against Roma, obviously. Then we both won our next games. But then in the 2 games after that, Vitorol beat Roma, which is obviously not very good for Roma. And then they draw with Ghent. So it puts us in the driving seat. We've already qualified as first qualifier. So I think we get a seeded draw, which is good for us, of course. So winning or losing against Roma doesn't really matter too much. But I suppose for pride, we do want to be beating them. Also, I'm sorry as well, in the background, the dog is snoring. The tactical dog is here. She's snoring very loudly tonight. I've gone over to her 3 times already to just be like, shh, please, I'm trying to record. But no, she's not being quiet for me, so I do apologise for any background noise. So old Crazy Eyes now is wanting more first team football, and Jalapeno obviously couldn't get to grips with Crazy Eyes on the grounds that, well, he's got crazy eyes, basically. Let's discuss this issue with Crazy Eyes then. He's changed. I genuinely think he has changed. His eyes still look crazy, but I swear he had hair before. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. Anyway, he wants to play first team football. And to be fair, I'm looking at his eyes. I can't say no to him. So, I've got to say yes, haven't I? I'll give you some starts. And he's happy. It's the eyes. Honestly, why would I want to play him over Jalapeno or Mertens? Because he's not as good. To be fair, though, let's have a word with him. His training is not going very well. Let's have another chat with him, shall we? Let's warn him quickly. Criticise training levels. You need to step up your level of training. He wants to prove it. I didn't look at him in the eyes. I used like the Greek mythology story Medusa, and you couldn't look at Medusa in the eyes, otherwise you turn to stone. And the hero of the story uses like a mirror shield, doesn't he? And he does something like that. That's the same thing that I did with Crazy Eyes there. I hid behind a mirror shield and he had to look at himself, and then he got scared by his own eyes, and then he submitted to me saying train harder, and he was like, he's got crazy eyes, but is that me? But is that Tom? And he was, basically that's what happened. Right, 2 changes to the lineup then. Aravelos comes on in that attacking midfield position for Coyle, and then Crazy Eyes is going to get his chance now to show himself on the pitch as he replaces Jalapeno. Defenders still injured, so Pandolfi stays in defence. And ironically, actually, the first clean sheet we keep in quite a long time, if we look down here, the first clean sheet we have in a number of games is when we have a midfielder in defence, not a defender. Go figure that one out. Right, kick-off is upon us. We are playing away in Rome, a lovely city that I've only been to once, actually, but I loved it. And of course, I do history at university, so a place like Rome is like, that's like the best place in the world. We're going quite attacking today, on the grounds that we've got nothing to lose, really. So we may as well just test ourselves, go attacking, see how many goals we can get. If we concede a few, doesn't matter because we've already won the group, so I'm not fussed. Despacito, though, already suffered a bruised ankle, so we may swap him at half-time for Lukasic, who hasn't had too much game time recently, but when he has done, he's been alright, to be fair. He's been better than last season, I think, actually, and that says something already. As Hammer Time is through early on. Can't score a goal, though, unfortunately. Another highlight for us now, half an hour into this game. Despacito has been puts it through to Hammer Time, and Hammer Time, on the second time of asking, puts it in the back of the net. The keeper made a decent save the first time round, but literally just pushed it back into Hammer Time's path. And he managed to put it past the keeper that time, and we've now gone 1-0 up against Roma to extend our lead at the top of the group by 8 points. Ghent don't have a chance of qualifying, unfortunately, but at least we can thrash Roma. What does that achieve? Nothing really, does it? It's nice to look on our score sheet though to see that we've still got a bit of an unbeaten run going of 2 games. if we do win this game. So actually it's not that impressive, is it? I was about to say we'd be unbeaten in Europe as well, but we did lose one of the leg of the qualifying games, didn't we, to Hammarby. So even that wouldn't be true. It's not unbeaten in Europe. Unbeaten in the group stages, yes, but not unbeaten in Europe, as Hammer Time on the edge of the area puts it into Gomez. Gomez puts it back and Despacito is there. I think Hammer Time touched it down to Despacito, and good old Despacito get himself back on the score sheet. He's not been there for the past few games actually, so it's nice for him to get a goal. There's a highlight straight from kickoff. We're literally moments away from half time now. Hopefully they won't go and score, because I'd like to go into half time 2 to the good. Of course, keeping a clean sheet today would be fantastic. And we've won possession back now. Hammer Time plays it to Mertens, who's number 2. Was he always number 2? I don't know if he was or not. Hammer Time shot saved. But this is what I mean. I swear Mertens was not number 2. Why would I give my central midfielder the number 2? It doesn't make sense to me. So let me know if you think he's changed numbers or not. I mean, another highlight now right now, just before half time. We've got 2 minutes of added time. We've won the ball back, Masovic, after Crazy Eyes were tackled. And now Crazy Eyes with plenty of space into Mertens. Mertens through to Hammer Time. Hammer Time puts it back across. Arabelos 3-0. Easy stuff this. Easy. Roma really gone downhill actually in this universe of football. When in Football Manager 2017 I did a journeyman save and we ended up at Roma. And actually, I think it was about 25-26 season. We won the Champions League with Roma. I think we may have lost the final, actually. I can't remember. I don't think we did win it. I mean, actually, I think we may have lost it now. Either way, though, we got to a final with Roma. We either won it, we either lost it. I can't remember. If I don't remember, we probably lost it, to be fair. I've just tried to blot the memory out. But obviously, on this one, they're scraping through Europa League Group Stage B after losing to Viitorul and barely getting past Genk. And now the 3-0 down to us, nearly 3-1, but still 3-0 down to us. Lincoln City, of all teams. Right, we'll watch this highlight then, just before we make some substitutes in this game to try and rest a few players. I think we've got a league game coming in a few days' time, but it's against bottom of the table Brighton. So, of course, there's a few guys that I sort of want to rest for that. We said we'd bring on Lukasic actually at half-time. We didn't do that, so Lukasic is going to come on the pitch. Jimenez not played for a little while actually, and Gomez hasn't played brilliantly, so we're going to bring Jimenez on that left-hand side as an inside forward on attack, and I feel like we should probably make one more change. I reckon Jalapeno can also play in defence, but to be fair, I mean, Pandolfi's played very well there. We'll give Jalapeno a run out. He needs a bit to stretch his legs after he's not playing midfield today. We'll make those changes, 3 at all at once. Slightly risky, but we are 3-0 up, so I'm not scared. 5 minutes left on the clock then. We've got a few more moments to try and grab an extra goal or something like that. It'll be quite good to see. The dog is now scratching at the door, because she's probably hungry. She's been very, very hungry recently. I'm tempted to think she's got worms, because she's eating a lot more than she should be at the moment. So, if you're a vet or you know a lot about dogs, my dog wants to eat loads of food at the moment. Does that mean she's got worms? I haven't checked her poo yet, but I feel like she's now licking the door. I mean, that's how hungry she is. So I'll probably give her some food. Either way, Jimenez scored a goal. We missed it completely. Now Hammer Time makes it 5. So, I mean, a good little run there for us. 5-0 against Roma. That is a fantastic result. There we go. She's still licking. She's still licking the door. But we've gone and won 5-0. What a result that is. That is absolutely incredible. I wish we could just do that more and more in the league. In fact, should we say that to them? Can we say that to them? Can we go assertive? No, we can't say that to them. But we'll just say special. No one gives a chance, you've won. And now she's desperately hungry. So let's end this quickly. Right then, next episode, I reckon we're probably going to do Stoke and Chelsea. That gives us enough time to get a bit of stuff out of the way. And crucially, it puts us into January. And we're going to have to do a lot of business in January on the grounds that we need players on the left-hand side. And maybe need a defender. Or midfielder. Midfielder can play in defence, can't they? So me and the Tactical Dog, we'll see you there next time for that kind of stuff. If you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure you do drop a like. If you like dogs and you think my dog's got worms, make sure you drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager action as well, and then we will see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco.